me about being a songwriter who has something to say.
For sure.
Yeah. Where does that come from? Or how do you think about yourself?
I don't know that a songwriter. Well, I think a songwriter is a person with an ear and a heart, a good one, and I think the best songwriters do two things. One, they listen to the song. To me, a song isn't just the words I'm writing on the page. A song is a living, breathing entity that speaks and tells me what it needs and what it doesn't need, and when it's done and when it's not done. And Andre Crouch said that to a room of songwriters one time, and I took it home because I fully believe that if you serve the song, if you listen to the song, you always end up saying something, because the song is an extension of the Spirit of God, and the Spirit of God always has something to say. Therefore, a song always has something to say.
That's the listening part.
That's the listening part. I also think that songwriters, really good ones, in an effort to say something, can put themselves on a tightrope and write themselves off of it. And so,
say more about that.
The blood of my brother was spilled in the street. He was the rose that grew out of the concrete. That's the first line of Rose Petals.
Yeah, now what you gonna do?
He's like, run a tightrope immediately. Now, let's guide the listener through the tightrope to get to the end. But the only way to get to the end, right? The only way to get to that question at the end that's going to challenge us, which is, why do we politicize human blood, is to walk this tightrope together. And the more we walk this, if you trust me as a songwriter, and we walk this tightrope, we'll get to the other side and it'll pay off for you, right? So yeah, a tightrope. It's like, what are you, that first line of the song, what are you going to stick people with that A, is going to awaken them, but B, is gonna challenge them to see what lies beyond that next step. Really good songwriters can do that.
But then you talked about songwriter is listening but has a heart.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, what do you mean by heart?
So listening but has heart, like, that's the heart, right? It's like I want the listener to go somewhere with me. I don't want, especially in church, right? Now more than ever, we lean toward our affirmations and our partialities in church. But
say more about that. That feels interesting.
It's like we want to sing about what we know, and then we want God to meet us in places of our own comfort where we know, right? We don't necessarily want the God that says, when you throw a party, invite the least. Yeah. Right? That was a bomb of a statement that Jesus said.
The ones who can't even invite you back.
Right. The one, right? Like, we don't want necessarily the God that says there's a shepherd that had 100 sheep, lost one, and went to go find the one, leaving the 100 behind, right? But that's who Jesus is. And so sometimes in our worship expression, our singing expression, we just want God to meet us in the parameters of our comfort and safety. We don't want him to blow those doors off. We don't even want him to really open the door and invite us out. We just want him to come in to our world, sit down, and then enjoy the dinner we've made for him.
Yeah,
right?
And just reaffirm everything that we've already believed.
Yeah, you're right. You don't got to change. Everything you think about me is right. Yeah. You got me paid. Good job. You figured out Jesus, right? Yeah. But that's not what God is like. So I think the job of songwriters and preachers, right? And they kind of go one of the same. I think Ephesians talks about, or Ephesians or Galatians. It says, like, as you're singing, you're teaching, right? You're instructing. So songwriters, specifically in the worship movement, have a responsibility to push people outside of those parameters. And if we don't, we're doing a disservice to them. So that's where the heart comes in. Like, you have to be willing and have a heart for people to want them to explore the outside, the wilderness, the wild.
I mean, part of what I'm hearing you say is that means you have to have the heart that would allow yourself to experience that.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we wouldn't want to be the people who tell people to do something or experience something that
we're not going after ourselves.
Yeah.
I've multiple times just been like, God, blow my doors off.
Yeah.
Why am I sitting here? This is so boring. And a walk with God is not a tiptoe through the tulips. A walk with God is an adventure. Peter went on one and he ended up in the ocean. You know what I mean? Like, everybody that's ever gone on a walk with Jesus has signed up for an adventure. So why do we feel like it's any different for us? I want to go on an adventure with God. I've been going